You're watching Beyond Your Backyard Now with Erik the Travel Guy.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Aaron Sega. Yes, it is June 15th, 2020. I am Erik the Travel Guy. Welcome to the program this week. It is another phenomenal program lined up for you. If you've never watched before, I thought I would spend just a few seconds, kind of dusting off the basics a little bit. And the reason I wanted to do that for you today is because, again, it might give you a little context. First of all, you may not be aware that we release new travel videos every day on our YouTube channel. You may be watching this program on that channel. That happens every day. We also produce a program called Beyond Your Backyard, and that is on PBS, public broadcasting stations, Amazon Prime, and on the Create channel. And season 3 is on its way out as we speak. And we do this program every Monday at 2 p.m., which is called Beyond Your Backyard Now. So that's really what we do. But one of the reasons that I mention what we do is because you may be wondering, is this programming right for you? i.e., am I going to watch this thing? Am I going to watch other videos? Whatever. Is it right? Well, I can help you. This program is designed for anyone who simply can't afford to get it wrong on their next vacation. Now let that marinate for just a second, because I think it's really important to note, you and I, we've never met. Now some of you, we have had a relationship for years and we may never meet, and that's okay. But again, I don't necessarily have to understand your socioeconomic situation. I know statistically speaking, you take 1 to 1.5 vacations a year. If you're here for entertainment, well, good luck. No, but if you are, every now and again we'll say something funny. I'm certainly very proud of the work we do. Even if you take no action, I think it's worthy of your attention. But I'm specifically interested in helping you make sure you don't get that next vacation wrong. And what I mean by that is, of course, you and I'm very grateful that I can waste a little money every now and again. It's okay, but I don't like doing it. I don't want to. I don't willingly waste money. I want good value for the dollar I spend. And that's what we're talking about here. A little bit of education, a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of exploration long before you take that vacation. That's where we live. That's where we thrive. That's where I got your back, provided you watch the content. I mean, and there is another thing that I would ask you to do as well. But we'll get to that in just a second. But nevertheless, that's who this programming is designed specifically for. And the reason I don't want you to get it wrong on your next vacation is because I want you to experience what I have experienced, which is the potential life-changing positive power of travel. Now, you may not know exactly what I'm talking about. You may have already experienced it, which is why you're back time and time again going on these places. But let me tell you something, and I'm not saying that your life needs changing. Only you can decide that. Only you can prevent forest fires. But what I am saying is, you just never know which one of these trips is going to change your life, your children's life, your spouse, your friends, forever. You just don't know. Maybe you're going to feel something. Maybe you're going to see something. Maybe you're going to climb on something. Maybe you're going to view something. Maybe you're going to eat something. Maybe you're going to hear something. Maybe you're going to touch something. You don't know unless you go. And that's what this programming is all about. All of the programming that we do is about that. So, with that, I know, yes, I'm hurried. See, this is the problem with this program. I get off on my soapbox. I just wanted to make it clear. We haven't talked about this in a while, so there you go. The only thing that I'm going to ask you to do is this programming is free to you, all of it. You can watch it on television, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on our website. It's all free. Now, you're watching an ad, of course, so that's how we make money, but nevertheless, I'd like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'd like you to share this link with your friends. If not this one, pick another video you like out of our library. For heaven's sakes, we have hundreds upon hundreds of videos since 2006 on our YouTube channel. Pick one that you like. We're going to talk about places. We're going to talk how to get to places. We're going to talk about how to do that next vacation safely here amidst this pandemic. So that's one of the things that we do on this program week to week. Speaking of which, I'm going to introduce you to a company that's going to help you do just that. You probably have never heard of them, but once I introduce it to you, you're never going to forget them. So we're going to talk about that. If you don't think there's cruise news out there, you are mistaken, because there is. And I want you to meet this company called American Cruise Lines. We're going to talk to the CEO on today. It's Beyond Your Backyard Now. I'm Erik the Travel Guy. Let's settle in and take a look at this. Yeah, she just came right over and took care of business. Hello. How are you? Thank you for watching. I'm Erik the Travel Guy. Yes, I was talking about my friend Jessica, who came over and gave me a haircut. So it looks pretty good. I'm excited about it. Have a look over here. Look over here. You look at the back. You can actually look at the back. It's very exciting. Does she have a? Do we know if she has a website or something? All right, well, we will find out. If she has a website and is available, perhaps you can look this beautiful as well. Anyway, thank you to Jessica. Thank you for watching, by the way. And I mentioned earlier the travel team, a really dedicated team of people, and our team has grown this week. I want to welcome Luke and Zach to the program. They're not going to be on the show today, but well, surprise. No, I want to welcome Luke and Zach joining us. They started a couple weeks ago. And so thank you for taking care of the things you are supposed to take care of. Boy, that sounds nice and cryptic. All right, there's no reason to sound cryptic because Cindy Scott is here. She is an RV travel expert. And I think, if I have this right, she's zooming in from her RV. So it's time to hit the open road. Let's do this. Well, Cindy Scott, I am so happy you're here, and you're actually zooming in from an RV. I love it.
Yes. Yep. Here it is, the home.
What do you tell people when they start thinking about, maybe we should take an RV trip? Maybe we don't know anything about it. What do you tell them?
Yeah, I tell them to do it. Because I think the number one, even if you're thinking about coming into this lifestyle later on, either way, getting an RV and renting one before buying with a company like RV Share is a way better way to go than just buying something and going all the way in. You learn so much about what you want out of an RV before going all in on the investment. So I would say do it. It's a great way to go out and see the nation.
Now listen, Cindy, I have seen the photographs. I have read the material. It can't be as brilliant as you and your husband claim that it is. It just can't be. It's impossible.
No, it's really not all amazing all the time. And I actually think on my website, I get a lot of compliments for trying to be on both sides of that and sharing the disaster stories too.
Well, I would think even just parking the damn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do it? I mean, first of all, if I'm going to do this, or if somebody watching right now is going, you know what, you guys, you may be crazy, but you may be onto something too. So you're probably also brilliant. So I'm going to get something a little smaller that at least fits in a parking space. But even parking one of those is a bit of a challenge.
Yes, it is. And we actually have I would say the first couple months, again, are going to be hard. It's really easy to get ramped up emotionally. We have like a 3-step process we go through when we're parking it now that works really well for us. We have a pre-arrival pep talk. We like when we're getting to the place, we remind each other we love each other. We just want to park our home. It's going to be okay. So once we've gone through that and we're in this good place, we also, there's 2 really important things. Try to use your phone or walkie-talkies if you can, and hand signals if you can. Because anything that amplifies your voice is going to start stressing you or the other person out. And so it's really important to remember to try to stay calm and collected in your voice. We see a lot of people show up at RV parks and they're towing something our size and they're screaming back and forth between the truck and and even if you weren't stressed out, then you are going to start getting stressed out just from the yelling back and forth, and everyone around you hears that. These are not insulated things.
I am stressed out just hearing about it. I mean, this is I am all for the hand signals and the walkie-talkies. Absolutely.
Yeah, they help.
But that leads me also to someone really watching right now going, you know what, we are thinking about doing this. There are some questions that people need to be asking themselves sort of a little heart to heart at the house, even before you go online and start looking at them. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's very different on what you're going to rent, depending on your family size and what you really want out of your trip. A lot of families going on a shorter trip might not need all that. They could definitely be towing something smaller, or even in a van or a smaller class B sort of situation.
You can rent an RV in just about every size, right?
Yeah, RV share, I'm pretty sure they have 100,000 options on that. There's all sizes, and right now I wouldn't recommend pop-ups as much, and I hate saying that. I'm sorry for anyone who's renting a pop-up trailer on there, but it's an important time right now to be looking for a self-contained RV. That's really important for families to know who are thinking about this. A lot of the bathhouses and situations that campgrounds usually offer are closed right now because of COVID. So it's really important to have your own kitchen, your own bedroom, and your own bathroom if you can, so you can shower and use the bathroom in your own space.
Got it. And those facilities are available, the water, the power, the sewage, those facilities are open. It's those physical structures that are closed temporarily.
Correct. As long as when you're looking into RV parks, you should make sure it's going to have water, sewer, and 30 or 50 amp electric, depending on whatever matches up with your rental, if it's important for you to be very self-contained and comfortable. There are, of course, options to do it cheaper and be out in the middle of nowhere without those, but if you're brand new to this, you probably want those at least in the beginning.
Well, and it's also not a foregone conclusion that those are available and not already reserved. I mean, more and more people are taking these types of vacations this year, this summer, right now. Where do we rent an RV? I mean, we know the folks at GoRVing.com. We talked to them a couple of weeks ago, and I love what they do. But there are other options as well. Help us out a little bit.
Yeah, there are websites such as RV Share, and they are essentially an Airbnb of RVs.
Perfect.
It's generally, most people only use their RVs a few weeks out of the year, so they're sitting in everybody's driveways. RV Share provides the opportunity for people to be renting those out and not only giving someone else the opportunity to go use it, but then they can have income from taking their RVs out on the road. Another great thing about renting through a big company like RV Share, honestly, is they have an insurance policy that's tried and tested, and things will break. It's okay. You don't have to be scared about it, but you have the insurance behind you. It will happen. And so it's great to have the protection because, and no, the people renting the RVs know something's going to break. These things are flimsy. So I hate saying that, but they are. They're going down the road every day. Like, they are.
Happens. Thank you for doing this today. I really appreciate it. It's good to meet you.
Thank you. It was great meeting you too. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Charlie Robinson is here, President and CEO of American Cruise Line, the largest domestic Cruise Line. We need to get into this, Charlie. It's good to meet you, and thank you for being here, man.
You too. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure because we get to talk about exploring this country, which you and I love so very dear.
My favorite topic.
You know, early on, being from Iowa, we were always taught that the Mississippi River is a really cool place. And as kids, we were like, yeah, so what? And I remember the first time I went to the banks of the Mississippi River, and you don't really realize what you're working with until you get up close and personal. And I would imagine you find that that's true in every itinerary on each one of these 12 ships.
Absolutely. And every one is so different. Even the Mississippi River, what you get in Iowa is so much different than what you get as you move further downriver. And all of our itineraries have that same kind of feel to it, where there's so much history, culture, natural beauty, there's so much ecology, there's so much to see on each different itinerary.
Well, I know we have limited time together. I want to talk about the breaking news that you guys released very recently, which I was incredibly excited to see. You guys said, look, because of this pandemic, we're not sailing. We've moved itineraries around. Our ships are moored and staying in place until, did I read this right, June 20th?
That's correct.
Now,
and there's still no guarantees because it's dependent on everything working out the way that the modeling predicts, and the ports have to be comfortable with us visiting and so forth.
Yep.
But our target right now is June 20th, and that looks really promising. There's a lot of support for it.
Absolutely, myself included. But if some of the astute viewers will go, wait a second, didn't the CDC say, hey, no cruising until some date? I don't even have that off the top of my head, but isn't this before that date?
It is, but our ships all have fewer than 250 people on board. And so we are exempted from the CDC order. The CDC also focuses on the international lines.
This is what I love about a family business, okay? This is terrific because, and people need to know this, it's very difficult to get a family business to actually make money, okay? So first of all, we're assuming that you are making money and you're still in business, maybe not at this second, fine. But nevertheless, you can make these decisions based on what you believe is the right thing to do for your guests, not just for the company.
That's right. That really is right. And we are still in business. We're just not operating.
Right.
And this for us is really about leadership in the industry and restoring credibility more than it is about making money. These first few trips are quite frankly not profitable ones, given how much is going into preparation for them, and then all of the efforts we're doing on board and throughout the cruise to sanitize and be ready to respond.
Well, I definitely want to talk about that onboard experience under normal circumstances for those that aren't familiar with American Cruise Line, but we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about what's going to be a little different. What are you doing on board? I read some pretty cool things that you guys are doing on board, medical personnel, additional medical personnel and whatnot. What is it going to look and feel like and be different on board?
Right. And as long as we come back eventually to talking about the things we do well and the things people really are paying for when they get here, because that experience is still the same. And we've focused a lot on maintaining as much of the experience as we can. But in terms of what's changing, the biggest highlight is that we've cut capacity by 25%. And so we're guaranteeing that these ships will be at a maximum of 75% occupancy. And that frees up a lot of space for isolation rooms on board if they're needed, to have resident medical personnel on board, and then to space out the crew more so that they're not in confined spaces either, and can maintain their own social distancing practices. So it just lowers the density of the whole ship and allows us to have these medical facilities on board.
Because it's one thing to just be the leader and do these things with, relatively speaking, no competition. It's another to deliver that true value, which is going to carry over to our new normal.
Right. And so we've, in delivering that still exceptional value, we're saying, how can we still deliver the same culinary experience on board in the new normal? And our answer to that is to provide additional dining venues on board and provide room service so that the actual meal program is still the same. It's just more spaced out. And so our dining room is never more than half full because we have an additional lounge that people can eat in and have room service available, but it's still the same program.
It's still the same.
And then on tours, we're working with each venue to ensure that they can maintain their own sanitation protocols and can maintain social distancing practices also. But once they establish those, we're still providing those same tour experiences. We're just going to run more frequent, smaller group tours. So instead of sending 60 people on a tour, we'll now send 2 groups of 30. And so we're thinking through the entire experience in that way.
For somebody that's never stepped foot on one of these boats, and I know what's interesting about your fleet is that they're different, which is, we need to talk about that too. How do you describe an American Cruise Line experience to someone that's never been on the website?
It's a sophisticated, personalized experience. And we have small ships, so it's personalized by its nature. We're working with each guest individually in terms of what they want to do and want to see. And it's sophisticated because they're new ships, they're modern, they have a lot of modern technology, which I'll talk about also and how that's helping us now. And so we're able to meet the expectations of modern travelers and truly care for them at the same time. And that's a rare blend now where modern is often just as big as possible and you lose the kind of human touch to a lot of things. And we're very careful to maintain that because that's really where we started.
Yeah. Where do these ships go?
We operate in 30 states throughout the year. So we hit a big part of the country, the whole East Coast, the Mississippi River system, and the Northwest. And
wow.
Right? And
I didn't know it was that big. That's awesome.
It is. And there's more than 35 itineraries actually that do these different areas. And so we'll start in one of the major cities because that's really how people need to travel. They fly in for their cruises generally. But once we're out of the city, we really focus on the small towns and the interesting cultural destinations in that area. And so we're not hitting the major cities or the major tourist destinations. We're really going to the out of the way small towns that people otherwise would have a very hard time getting to. And so we have a particularly large impact in those places because they're not necessarily huge tourist draws.
What do you hear most, especially on a first-time person who comes off one of these itineraries? What do they tell you?
They really love the people on board the ships, our crew, the other passengers. It's a very fast camaraderie that we create on board, and that's very, very meaningful to them. The friendships that are formed are very strong, and we see it very often where people will actually book their next cruise with the people they've met on board the first one. And that's terrific. They then sort of form these traveling groups and might continue that for years. The other big factor for us is the ships, is people really love the new ships and the way we've designed them. They're designed to foster that congenial atmosphere on board, but they also have a lot of new technology and just a lot of very nicely designed spaces that highlight the areas we're cruising in, with a lot of glass, a lot of cultural enriching items on board, and it's all tied into the overall experience.
On a side note, do the ships go through locks?
We do. On the Columbia River, it has some of the biggest locks in the country, and we go through 8 locks that bring us up a total of more than 700 feet on the Columbia River, which is unbelievable.
And I'm happy to expose my nerdness about things like that to some viewers watching. Are going, Erik, give us a break. Nobody cares about the locks. Yeah, those are the people that haven't gone through one.
That's right.
And they all think, oh, I got to go through the Panama Canal one day. Yes, and you should do that. If you want to, there's plenty of opportunities to do so. But if you haven't been through a lock, it's really cool. And it's almost hard to describe.
It really is. And it's amazing. And since we go through 8 of them on the one itinerary on the Columbia River, we have people who insist on being on board on the sun deck for every single locking. And invariably, we're going to go through 1 or 2 in the middle of the night. They still get up and go up to the sun deck just to watch us go through the locking. But it's really cool. We pull into this hangar almost, and then slowly rise up more than 100 feet, and all of a sudden you're back in this beautiful landscape. And it's just unbelievable.
Don't make me cry on my own show now. Stop that. But it is true. It's just one of those. You know, how do you put that in a brochure? How do you put that on the website? How do you make it's like It's very difficult. But again, doesn't this go back to what this company is about? Because again, you didn't start this company. This wasn't necessarily your dream or your brother's dream per se. You could have done anything essentially you wanted with this company, but you chose to continue to operate within the same family of the original idea. And that says a lot about how you value these experiences.
We believe more than anything in the fundamental recipe, the small ships, the destination focus, the sophisticated atmosphere on board, and providing an educational experience at the same time we're providing an entertaining one. And that's really just core to our mission. And there's no way that we're going to change that.
Yeah. What would you recommend on a first-time voyage?
I would recommend the Lower Mississippi River as a great first-time voyage. You get everything about our experience on board. You have the history of the Mississippi River. You have an amazing culinary palette and menu available. There's music and entertainment every evening, and then you have this fantastic trip from Memphis to New Orleans, and in 7 nights. And it's a wonderful trip because there's so many different elements that get brought into it.
Well, I don't want to wrap this up with controversy, Charlie, but there have been some that have said you are kind of difficult to work for. Now, I don't want you to substantiate this rumor, but they've said one of the reasons you're kind of difficult to work for is that you truly do smile during most of the day. And sometimes people find it a little off-putting.
Well, I'll take it. We have a lot to smile about. We have a great product and yeah. We have great customers, so it's hard not to smile.
Sounds good to me. I think you have a real future as the official spokesperson if this whole CEO thing doesn't work out.
Well, I'm just passionate about the industry and about running boats, so
Agreed.
That makes it easy.
You got that right. Charlie, thank you for doing this. It's nice to meet you finally.
You too. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I like that company. I like that guy. He's a sharp guy. Family business. American Cruise Lines. And then you've got Stella. God love her. We love Stella. My apologies to Jack Wirt over at Paradise Coast down in Florida. Go to paradisecoast.com. Do that real quick. Help me make up for it. I didn't want to shortchange him here, so we're going to get him rebooked for next week, and we'll talk more about Southwest Florida on next week's program. In the meantime, since we only have a moment or two left, I have a serious question to ask you. When was the last time you had an amazing Philly cheesesteak? And when you were eating it, did you ask yourself, is a Philadelphia cheesesteak really from Philadelphia? We have the answer.
So, the first cheesesteak served in Philadelphia wasn't served with cheese, but today, the cheese debate rages on based on personal taste. The cheesesteak, or steak and cheese, was invented and served in 1930, according to the Philadelphia Historical Society. The world-famous sandwich is sliced steak, ribeye being the cut of choice or prime for most, cooked over medium heat, with or without other ingredients such as onions, peppers, or mushrooms, and is served hot on a soft hoagie or submarine roll. The essential cheese choice is either American, provolone, or Cheese Whiz. Making this fast food sandwich at home is easy, provided you use quality ingredients and a locally baked soft torpedo or hoagie roll. And while you can find a good cheesesteak just about anywhere in the United States, in Philadelphia, check out Tony Luke's, Gino's, and others, or the home of the original creation at Pat's King of Steaks. For Erik the Travel Guy's Food Travel, I'm Kara O'Brien.
Oh my word. I didn't know it was going to be that good. Woof. That looks amazing. Nice job on that. Woof. Now I'm hungry. All right, we're going to have to stop the program because now I got to go get a little sandwich. And what an easy sandwich to make. It is one of my favorite sandwiches, so I'm glad we brought that to your attention this week. My thanks to my guests. My thanks to the travel team. That's it. That's all the time we have. Have a phenomenal week. I will see you right back here Monday, 2 p.m. here on the YouTube. Thank you for watching.
It's ready. Yes, it's ready. Got it all prepared. It's finished. It's stunning. Yes, it's great. It's oh so ready. So just let it all begin.